I speak to you tonight at a moment of profound consequence, a moment that tests not only the tactical capabilities of our military, but the very fabric of our national resolve. We are living through an hour that is unburdened by the certainties of yesterday, and we are forced to confront a reality that is as sudden as it is severe. Earlier today, in the airspace over the international waters of the Persian Gulf and the surrounding region, the United States Air Force suffered a localized but unprecedented loss. Five of our E-3 Sentry planes, the airborne warning and control systems we affectionately and respectfully call the AWACS, were targeted and destroyed by Iranian forces. The E-3 Sentry is more than just a plane. For decades, it has been the eyes in the sky for the American military and our NATO allies. These aircraft are the sentinels of the sky. They are the sophisticated hubs that allow our pilots to see over the horizon, to identify threats before they manifest, and to coordinate the defense of freedom in complex environments. To lose five of these assets in a coordinated, unprovoked strike is not merely a loss of hardware, it is an attempt by the Iranian regime to blind the world's greatest air force. I want to be clear about what this means and what it does not mean. The headlines you are seeing, the reports of a total loss of vision on the battlefield, are a reflection of a tactical challenge we are currently navigating. When you lose your eyes, you must rely on your heart, your training, and your other senses. And while our immediate situational awareness in that specific theater has been significantly disrupted, the American spirit and the American military is never truly blind. But we must speak the truth about the gravity of this situation. The destruction of these five aircraft represents a massive escalation. It is a direct assault on the international order. It is an attempt to create a fog of war so thick that the light of justice cannot pierce it. But let me say this to those who would seek to exploit this moment. You may have damaged our radar, but you have only sharpened our focus. I want to talk for a moment about the crews. On those five planes were sons and daughters, fathers and mothers, brothers and sisters. They were the finest our nation has to offer. They were technicians, radar operators, pilots, and specialists who dedicated their lives to the quiet, often invisible work of surveillance and protection. They didn't fly into battle with the roar of fighter jets. They flew with the steady, rhythmic pulse of watchmen. They were the guardians of the digital frontier. Tonight, we hold their families in our hearts. We hold their service in our memory, and we promise that their sacrifice will not be in vain. When we talk about the significance of the passage of time, we look at the history of our Air Force. Since the end of the Second World War, the United States has maintained a level of air superiority that has functioned as a deterrent against global chaos. That superiority is built on technology, yes, but it is also built on the vision of our commanders. By targeting the E-3 Sentry, Iran has made a calculated bet. They believe that by taking away our ability to see, they can take away our ability to lead. They believe that if we are blinded, we will retreat. They are wrong. History is a process. It is a movement. And in the movement of history, there are moments where adversaries believe they have found a weakness. They look at the vastness of the sky and they think they can own it by extinguishing a few lights. But the United States of America does not operate on a single system. We are a redundant, resilient, and resourceful people. To the men and women currently serving in the Middle East, I know the challenges you face tonight. I know that the screens may be dark in some sectors. I know that the coordination that usually feels seamless now feels fractured. But you were trained for this. You were trained for the worst-case scenario. Our adversaries think they have achieved a strategic blackout. What they have actually done is ignited a fire within the American military that will not be extinguished until the balance of power is restored. Let us address the vision of the battlefield. In the coming days, you will hear much about the technical difficulties of operating without the AWACS. These planes provide what we call a common tactical picture. Without them, our fighter jets have to rely on their own onboard sensors, which have a shorter range. Our ground commanders have less time to react to incoming threats. The vision is indeed obscured. But leadership is about seeing what can be, even when the physical eyes are strained. We are already deploying alternative assets. We are leveraging our satellite constellations, our unmanned aerial vehicles, and the intelligence sharing capabilities of our regional partners who recognize that an aggressive, emboldened Iran is a threat to everyone, not just the United States. We are also engaging in a diplomatic surge that is as intense as our military posture. I have spent the last several hours on the phone with leaders from London to Paris, from Riyadh to Tel Aviv. The message is unanimous. This act of aggression will not stand. You cannot strike the eyes of the global community and expect the world to stay silent. The Iranian regime must understand the consequences of their actions. They have chosen a path of confrontation. They have chosen to test the limits of our patience and our technology. We do not seek a wider war. We have never sought a conflict that would bring further instability to a region that has already suffered so much. But let it be known, the United States will defend its assets, we will defend our people, and we will restore the vision that is necessary to maintain peace. Now, I want to speak to the American people here at home. In moments like this, it is easy to feel a sense of uncertainty. When we hear that our military is blind in a combat zone, it creates a sense of vulnerability. But I want you to remember who we are. We are the nation that invented the very technologies that are now being contested. We are the nation that, in the face of the greatest challenges, has always found a way to innovate and overcome. If our current systems are compromised, we will iterate. If our radars are down, we will use new spectrums. We are already accelerating the deployment of next-generation distributed sensing network systems that do not rely on a single large aircraft, but on a web of smaller, interconnected nodes that no enemy can easily destroy. This is the work that remains to be done. It is the work of ensuring that our technological edge is not just a matter of having the most expensive equipment, but of having the most resilient systems. We are learning from this. We are adapting, and we will emerge with a vision that is even more clear and more durable than before. There is a profound significance to the way we respond to crisis. If we respond with fear, we give the adversary what they want. If we respond with division, we do their work for them. But if we respond with a unity of purpose, a recognition that our security depends on our ability to see the world as it is, while working for the world as it can be, then we are truly invincible. I have directed the Department of Defense to move all necessary resources into the theater to fill the gap left by these 5 aircraft. We are working with our private sector partners in the aerospace industry to fast-track the refurbishment of reserve airframes. We are also increasing our cyber surveillance posture to ensure that the vision we lost in the physical sky is supplemented by intelligence gathered in the digital realm. But let us be clear about the nature of the threat. This wasn't just a mechanical failure. This wasn't an accident. This was a deliberate, kinetic strike using advanced weaponry. It suggests a level of sophistication that we must address with a sober and strategic mind. We are investigating the exact methods used, whether they were long-range surface-to-air missiles, electronic warfare, or a combination of emerging technologies. Whatever the means, the end result is the same: a challenge to American leadership. To our adversaries, do not mistake our deliberation for doubt. Do not mistake our transparency for weakness. We are a democracy. We talk about our losses. We acknowledge our challenges. That is where our strength comes from. We don't hide the truth from our people. We tell them the reality of the battlefield because we know that the American people are strong enough to hear it. And because we know that when the American people are informed, they are united. We are currently in a period of what military planners call strategic transition. The vision on the battlefield is being reconstructed as I speak. Our pilots are still flying. Our ships are still sailing. Our sailors and airmen are performing their duties with a courage that should make every American proud. They are flying dark if they have to, relying on their training, their instincts, and their faith in one another. In the coming days, I will be working closely with the President and the National Security Council to determine the full scope of our response. That response will be measured, it will be strategic, and it will be effective. We will not be drawn into a reflexive cycle of violence, but we will ensure that the cost of attacking the United States of America is understood by all. The E-3 Sentry may be a machine of metal and glass, of wires and waves, but it represents an idea. It represents the idea that the world is a safer place when the forces of democracy can see what is happening. It represents the idea that transparency is a deterrent to tyranny. When an autocracy tries to break those eyes, they are trying to return the world to a time of shadows and secrets. We will not go back. We will not be intimidated. I think about the words of the founders, and I think about the spirit of the pioneers. They didn't always have a clear map. They didn't always have a common tactical picture of the wilderness ahead, but they had a vision in their hearts. They had a vision of a nation that was free, a nation that was secure, and a nation that stood as a beacon of light in a dark world. Tonight, that light may feel slightly dimmed by the events in the Persian Gulf, but the light of America does not come from a radar dish on top of a Boeing 707. It comes from the resolve of our people. It comes from the skill of our engineers. It comes from the bravery of our pilots. And it comes from our unyielding commitment to the principles of freedom and international law. We will restore our vision, we will rebuild our strength, and we will continue to lead because that is who we are. As we move forward, I ask for your prayers for the families of the fallen. I ask for your support for our troops in harm's way, and I ask for your confidence in the endurance of this great nation. We are seeing the challenges of today, but we are also seeing the possibilities of tomorrow. We are unburdened by the setbacks of this hour because we know that our journey has always been one of overcoming. We have been through dark nights before. We have faced moments where we felt we were flying blind. And every single time we found the light. Every single time we found our way. This time will be no different. The Iranian regime may have taken our planes, but they cannot take our spirit. They may have blinded our sensors, but they have opened our eyes to the necessity of a new level of vigilance. I will keep you informed as the situation develops. We are working around the clock, we are standing tall, and we are moving forward together. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.